tell them a little about yourself?
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm
let's
gonna
do
tell
a little quiz. Does anyone know anything? Did anyone do any homework?
It's okay if you didn't, believe me.
I went to your website.
Did you? Okay, cool.
You won a Nashville Film Festival Award for Best Beauty Team.
Oh, you read a blog. What's your name?
Oh,
No, that's great. Well, my name is Sherita, and I been doing hair and makeup here. I'm based here in Nashville. I also do a lot of work in Atlanta for like 12 years now. And for some people who went to my site, you may know I do a lot in my specialty is production. So I do a lot in TV. Some film, small amount, but I also do a lot of commercials. A lot of networks that I regularly work with is like ESPN, CBS, worked on shows for like ABC, Lifetime, Bravo, the We Network, CMT. I also do a lot with like ad campaigns and brands and things like that, from like Sony to Apple, to name a few, and just a little bit like across the board here in Nashville. I also kind of help put together teams for like different shows and productions, and I've spoken here in the past. It's been like a few years, but I think the school that you guys are at is a really great school. Some of my best assistants have came from here who have like left me and went on to do really great things, and so you guys are really like in a great spot. And so just to tell you guys a little about me and like how I got started, originally for me, for makeup, I was fascinated by it because I couldn't touch it. Honestly, I was like where my family is, and it's kind of funny when I first told them I want to be a makeup artist, they looked at me like I was an alien, because it was like, first of all, it's like somebody wants you to do this and they're going to pay you what, and then a TV what, like what? So, especially since my background was in marketing and I had a marketing degree. And so for me, I grew up in a family that really didn't like the whole thing with makeup. Like my parents are super old school, religious, like they called it for women of the night, if you want to know like how old school they are. And so basically, so I was that person in school who would do everybody else's like makeup and hair. And so I had originally taken cosmetology in high school because hair made sense. Makeup, they were just like, you're a crazy person. So I kind of took cosmetology while I was in high school, and then I kind of changed my mind again because I was like, oh, I don't want to work in a salon. And so I went and got a degree in marketing. So I worked in my field of marketing for a while, and I was really good with people. But me knowing me now, in a corporate atmosphere, I'm just a little too entrepreneurial for it, because if anybody has worked in any kind of corporate or anything with like super strict structure, when you're like, oh, I got an idea, or we should do this like this, or we should do this like that, they usually look at you like, no, girl. Like follow like follow like the path we have for you. We really don't want to deviate from that. And then I was younger, and I had like a lot of good ideas, and time to time I would have bosses that would actually steal my pictures or steal what I wanted to do and pitch it as their own. So that was kind of like things I kind of ran into. And then for me being a female too, it was like one of those things too. They were always looking to the guys for certain things. And so while I like working with people, I really wasn't happy where I was at. And I got lucky and I met a makeup artist, because I kind of still did things on the side. And he didn't really do hair, and so he kind of needed an assistant. And I'm like, oh, sure, yeah, whatever, I'll help you. And I kind of got to see like the production side of things, which I, for myself, never knew existed. And so once I kind of got to see that, I was like, I felt like the sky opened up, and it was like, whoa, and that whole thing happened, and it was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I felt like really like all my talents of what I love to do could be put to work in one place. So at that time I got really lucky, because he was a former instructor at a makeup school in LA, and before he moved back I kind of got to train and assist with him. And then from there I went to Chicago, and I went to LA and New York, and I kind of took classes, and kind of fast forward like 12 years later, this is all I do. And so it's kind of been lucky to kind of build a career upon that. And this, even too, I always kind of joke about my family, because I'm like, if you don't have the support of people with you or what you do, I'm like, don't worry about that, because it's kind of hard sometimes telling them, because sometimes you've been given a dream or you've given something that you want to do and they don't quite get it. Like me explaining to them like what I wanted to do at first was, I mean, seriously, it was like me trying to get them to know I'm not trying to be the Avon lady, and just really like the career path that I have. And so it kind of went from that to now they understand it a lot more because they can see it. And so it's a little bit more real for them. So now when they see production or they see different things going on, they kind of understand it more. So my biggest thing I just wanted to talk to you guys today was just, it would be like things that I wish I knew when I first started. Because sometimes when you're getting started here, it's kind of hard to know which direction you should take, especially like when you graduate. And my first thing I always tell people is really define what you want to do. Define what you want to do, what kind of artist you want to be. What I say this is, when you first start out, you'll try a little bit of everything, but find out what you really gravitate towards and what really speaks to you. And it can be different parts of artistry. Like for me, myself, I know I'm like commercial, beauty, and like red carpet. Those are like kind of like my things. But some people are, because even with me, if I do fashion and editorial, honestly, it ends up being like really pretty and has a beauty feel to it, because that's just kind of who I am. But I also have friends, other friends, who are like strictly glam, like strictly, you know what I'm saying? And it's so many different aspects of what we do. But it's good to figure out in the beginning what do you want to do with it, because this is going to determine your marketing. This is going to determine how you brand yourself. This is going to determine your social media, who you network with, and what your website will look like. Because sometimes when people first start out, they try to be so general that you try to appeal to everybody, that it's going to really make your business hit or miss, because you're not truly targeting your people. And if you kind of give them 100% and really brand yourself, and it also create your marketing materials and really go to events and network with people who you really want to work with, when you link up with them, you're gonna look exactly like the person they're looking for, if that makes any sense. Versus trying to appeal to everybody, and they may like you and they may not. So that's one thing, is really define that, and really great questions to kind of ask when you're trying to figure that out is, for you yourself, what do you want to be known for? When people think of makeup, when they think of a certain type of makeup, what do you want to be almost synonymous with your name? So when they think of both of them. Also, who do you want your clients to be? And also, when you're thinking about your clients, like, what are their interests? Because if you kind of figure this out or have an idea of this, when certain networking events or certain opportunities come available, you'll know if they'll benefit your business or not. Other things are, who do they currently work with already? Because sometimes you can find out a lot about the makeup artist and the team that they're currently working with, because that'll kind of give you an idea of what your book should look like, website, or things that you should work on in your own portfolio to get that type of work. But then sometimes too, with it, even though you specialize in the field, there will be things from time to time that you do like that will surprise you. That's why I say sometimes try a little bit of everything. Like for me, I know for me in my work, for theater and things that I've tried before with that, I know I'm way too light-handed. And other things that I've tried that I thought I would love, like Fashion Week, I'm like, oh my God, I just have to work Fashion Week. I hated it. I'm too slow. For me, I'm used to spreading out. I'm used to having like all my space and stuff like that. They give you like a corner that's like this big, and then they give you like your look really quick, and they're like, let's go. I was like, when do we get out of here? But in my head, like everybody's like, you're supposed to love Fashion Week, you're supposed to love this, you're supposed to love that. I'm like, I was just like, I tried it once enough to figure out that I'm like, that is not for me. One thing for me, I'm not a huge special effects person, but for me, it surprised me how much I actually do like minor and small like special effects. Like I like the transformation of it. I'm just a small like bruises, aging people type of person. I can't do a whole mask or bald head cap, any of that. But like small things with it, it really does, it trips me out just how you can transform things with what we have in our kit. And so that aspect of things I like. I may not have it displayed on my website, but I do let people know in a way that I do it. So when jobs and things come up, I still have a portfolio that may not be listed on my website, but I can send to producers or directors that let them know that I can do this also. So that's my big thing. First thing is just really to find out who you want to be. The other one is never stop learning. I love that you guys are here because the thing is, you always want to continue to take classes and work on your portfolio or your reel. Because if you continue to do that, you'll always be current on trends. And for the people that you research and define that you want to work with, you'll be ready for every opportunity that comes up. And then also too, if you don't have a specialty or if it's something that you kind of notice and wherever you decide to land, it may not be Nashville, but if you're like, okay, this is really hard right now, but not that many people are doing it, take it upon yourself to take a class in it. Take it upon yourself to take a class in things you want to specialize in or things that you feel like no one else is doing and you can do better than someone else. So that way, it'll give you a little bit of edge over this person. When they're looking at both of you guys' books, you'll have something that the next person doesn't have that can get you booked for work. My other thing I say for taking classes, most people kind of forget about is with classes, that's a way, especially if you kind of go outside your market or different places, it gives you a whole new network of people who can refer you work. And when I say that, I mean not only the instructor, but also your classmates. And I'll talk about your classmates first, because like even you guys here in this group, you may know each other now, but if it wasn't for this school, you would never, some people would never cross paths. And it's people that you can kind of link up with and refer work and almost kind of be a sisterhood for each other to help each other make it where you want to be. Same thing when you take other classes that come up in like group settings. A lot of times people get to know each other, you become Facebook friends, and then sometimes it's someone outside your market. So if they know if someone's coming to Nashville, they can easily refer you for more work. I've gotten so much work for people who don't live here just from classes and things I've taken and people that I've become friends with from group experiences that we've done together and just staying friends online. Also too, for the instructor, it kind of sometimes, especially if it's a hands-on class, sometimes it kind of gives the instructor a chance to get to put a face with someone who may just been a follower online or someone who admired their work. So they now kind of put a face to you, they know your name. If there's a question or an assistant opportunity comes up, a lot of times they're gonna be most inclined to pick the person who they already kind of have some sort of a relationship with versus someone who just kind of emails them directly. And so a lot of people don't even look at that aspect of it. It's just really getting out there and meeting people. Because my other thing, just really the things I really wish I knew when I first started, and a lot of people say it, but it's our business, a lot of it is who you know. It's all about who you know, and a lot of people kind of say it in a negative vibe to it, but the thing is, if you know it's all about who you know, really get out there and try to expand your network. Get to know some people. Social media is amazing because it didn't have it when I first started out, but you build relationships with so many people online and get to know them without, and have so much access through them, through email and direct, kind of sending them DMs and different things like that that you probably wouldn't have been able to have before. But also don't be afraid to like get off the internet and go meet people in person, because people work with people they know, like, and trust. And so for you, it really helps to kind of build relationships and start networking. And the things is, the more people you know and can network with, that's the more opportunities for jobs, because there's more people who know you for what you do and what you specialize in. Because it's kind of hard to give somebody work and I have no clue who you are. It's kind of like that thing for people who do go to church, and there's amazing singers and people that are in it, and people who may sing, or friends or family you know that can out-sing several celebrities who have record deals. But the people who are in charge or who are giving out recording contracts, they have no idea who these people are. And the thing is, they knew, you know what I'm saying, the person that you're listening to on the radio is the one that kind of sought it out and made it happen. So it's kind of one of those things you kind of have to put yourself out there and get to know the right people and kind of network and get yourself in a place where someone can actually see how talented and how amazing you are. The other things I would say too is with being a really great makeup artist, a lot of it is knowing it's not knowing how to do everything, but sometimes it's knowing when to do what. Because the thing is, a lot of times it's working with your producers, working with your directors, working with the A&R person with music, or the artist or the celebrity you're working with, and really finding out what they need from you on that particular job, project, or gig. Because if it's something where we are trying to go all out, full carpet, you know what I'm saying, full red carpet glam, and you give them something very commercial, that's a means for you never to be hired again. Or the vice versa. If it's a very commercial job and it's supposed to be lifestyle and they're supposed to look a certain way, and then you went full, you know what I'm saying, full beat down on their face, again, that's going to be another time where you're not going to be rehired. So sometimes you do not have to use like all the tricks in your kit. You'll look amazing for knowing how to do what they ask you when it's needed. And so a lot of times that too, that's kind of coming, don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes when I first started out, I thought if I asked questions, that means I'm telling, especially when I was super new, that I didn't know what I was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? It was me almost telling the director that I don't know what I'm doing. Actually, the more questions you ask, the better, because that's the easiest way for you to give them exactly what they want. So do not basically shut yourself out of opportunities to kind of really find out what exactly is needed. The other things with it too, going down a list. I would say too, sometimes it's not just about makeup. Sometimes it's about just going into even asking questions. Sometimes, especially if you work in production or film or a commercial, sometimes it's reading your sides. And for those people, sides are like in little mini instructions they give you with each scene that kind of tells you what's happening. So sometimes when you are reading sides, it'll tell you everything that's happening in that scene. And even though her makeup and hair and everything may be already done, there's clues of things in that you need to do that they may not directly tell you, but if you are prepared and you're a really great makeup artist, you'll kind of have it on hand and kind of know.